live from the YouTubes. It's back on Sunday. We're not doing Monday this time. And also, we just sprang forward an hour. So I feel like I've lost a lot of sleep, even though I technically haven't. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the normal day when we do these live streams. And I can't wait for today's live stream because I know you guys probably have a lot of Oscar-centric questions because tomorrow morning we know the Oscar nominations are coming out. We also know there's a big old movie coming out next week called Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I may or may not. Well, you know what? Let's answer this first question that I saw right when we started. He says, have you seen the Snyder Cut? Embargo for social and review, which would be tomorrow. It lifts at 12 Eastern time at noon. And I can definitively say I have not seen it, but it is sitting in my inbox, and I will be watching the Snyder Cut literally right after this. So as soon as this live stream is over, I'm going to go watch Zack Snyder's Justice League and hopefully have a review for you guys tomorrow at noon Eastern time. So I'm interested. I'm excited. I'm ready for the long journey over the next couple of hours. And I know it's going to be at least a special experience because how often do you get a movie that's 4 hours long? So I'm excited. I can't wait. He said, what are you doing? Watch the Snyder Cut now. I know. I had in my brain, I'm like, I want to do a live stream today. I want to make sure we can get together and do it because I know I won't be able to do it tomorrow. But as soon as this is over, I am going and watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. It actually came last night, but I was a little busy, and then I said, I got to make time for it tomorrow. So that's what we're going to do later today. Hey, by the way, if you're here, whether it be for the first time or you coming back and you're always joining these live streams, if you want to drop this video a thumbs up, if you want to ask away, and again, I always apologize if I can't get to every question, but I will try my best to get to every single thing I can get to today. And of course, as always, you guys want to make sure I see your questions. Super chat is the route to go. Otherwise, I just appreciate you all being here. Also, before we get into the next few questions that we have, a couple of announcements. Next Sunday on our podcast, PopX Cast, we will be talking about the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the Snyder Cut. So it's going to be a jam-packed episode, PopX Cast on YouTube. And if you guys saw on my community page, I did an interview with a man by the name of Ronald Smith, who, I mean, the guy's interviewing NFL players, and he reached out to interview me. So what a great guy. You can check that out. It's on that page right now. But it's called Getting Real. And, man, I answered a lot of questions, and I said a lot of things that I've never said before and talked about my YouTube journey. So if you guys want to check that out, that would be awesome. As well as my boy 3C Films. We do our podcast called Film Strippers. We're going to be back this week with a spoiler review for the Snyder Cut. So if you're a fan of 3C Films and you enjoy our podcast, go check out Film Strippers on YouTube. Okay, plugs. We've plugged. We're done plugging. Let's get to a super chat that we have, and I want to make sure I get to these super chats before they go away. Austin Wagner says, hot take. Man of Steel is a 5 out of 5 film. What is your number one prediction for the cameo at the end of the Snyder Cut? I'm glad I haven't watched it because now I can answer this. I would have said, well, Martian Manhunter, but now, like, that's kind of obvious. I really want it to be Green Lantern. I really want to see Green Lantern in the movie. Not Ryan Reynolds, just in general, a Green Lantern. So we already know we're going to see Joker and Deathstroke and so many different characters, but I would jump out of my seat if we saw somebody with that ring in a sweet-looking outfit, whether it be Jon Stewart or Hal Jordan or Kyle Rayner. Doesn't matter. Give me Green Lantern, and I'm going to be happy. So I think that would be super cool, Austin. Man of Steel, 5 out of 5 film. It's not a 5 out of 5 for me, but I love that movie. 2 pieces, and I will defend it for a long time. Also, I did a podcast, the Intercut podcast, which I mentioned on last week's live stream with Let Me Explain on YouTube. I've been following that guy for years. We did a Zack Snyder bracket. So when that comes out, I'll definitely be plugging it on the community page because I gave you all what I argued for what is my favorite Zack Snyder film. But when I do my tier list, you guys will see that this week. Hey, Austin, excited for you to be checking out the Zack Snyder Cut. Continue the great work on the channel. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. I'm excited. I think it's going to be an experience, like I said. Good morning, Austin. Get this. I'm going to see The Father today with my father, Cam. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I will say, The Father has shot up my 2020 list. It's just a special movie. It really is a special movie. And I don't think at this point it's going to get a Best Picture nomination. I hope it does. Part of me doesn't believe that it will, unfortunately. So it is my favorite movie of all of them. But if it doesn't get the Best Picture nomination, it's going to be hard to play that comparison game with that group of nominees. But I love The Father so much. So, Cam, I hope you enjoy it. It's definitely a special experience. All right. We do have some, I want to get to some just random questions here as they're just flying by. Do you think that the surprising picks for the BAFTA noms will influence the Oscars? Maybe not as much as people think. The BAFTA voting body, like the Golden Globes, is small in comparison to the Oscars. And every year it seems like they'll pull a random movie out of a hat. Now, this year they did that for multiple movies. I love Calm with Horses, by the way. I wasn't upset with that. But they'll pull random movies out, and it's just like, where are these coming from? How does it make sense? I don't think it's going to influence the Oscar nominees that much, because I think a lot of people probably already had their minds made up at that point. But it will be interesting to see if anything influences as much as I think the BAFTAs could have. I don't know if they're necessarily going to, because especially this year, a lot of them are set, barring one or two, like your supporting actress, your one of your technical categories, sound. Somebody could get snubbed heavily there, but I don't think it's going to do that much damage. Carey Mulligan is the standout. She should win. I love her performance in Promising Young Woman. So it's going to be a tough category, though. Are you excited for the upcoming HBO Max DC TV shows? Yeah, they announced a lot of the DC slate for HBO Max, and I'm pretty pumped. I think there's going to be a lot of great stuff coming to HBO Max, but in the comic book category on the DC level, Zatanna we saw, some of those shows that are getting picked back up, some interesting inclusions that could lead into other projects. We got Supergirl, we got all that stuff. So I'm excited. I think there's going to be some cool stuff on HBO Max. Frank says, are you a fan of Nightmare Before Christmas? I am. Funny story, though. I am. My wife is just like, she likes it, but she's just like, I don't really care about it that much. So it's interesting. Whenever I want to go back and watch that, I'm usually watching it by myself because she does not really have this affinity for it. Hey, Austin, have you ever watched a show, Yellowstone? Yeah. I watched a couple of episodes of Yellowstone. I haven't went all the way through it. Obviously, I can't review it, but I really, really like it. And Kevin Costner is so good in that show. Pumped as I am for season 4. I think I've only watched up to season 2. I think I've only watched up to season 2, so I'm very behind, but I'm excited to get back to it. But it's one of those shows, since I'm not reviewing it, is like I just got to find time to get to it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think it's a really, really good show. All right, we got multiple. What score would you give WandaVision? So I still haven't made my decision, because when I don't do an official video, I don't really like sit and strategically do all that stuff. I'm between an 8 and an 8.5, just in that area. I think it would have been higher if it weren't for certain things about the finale that I didn't love. Not overall disappointed, but I do think there were disappointing aspects. But overall, in general, I think WandaVision was a great show for what it was trying to do. I just wish it would have maybe stuck the landing a tiny bit more. But the creativity behind WandaVision is very, very special, and something that we'll rarely see in the MCU. I can't wait for the cameo at the end of the Snyder Cut. I don't know who that is or what that is. I thought you said Hugh Jackman at first, but I don't know who that is. Let's see. I am not Batman. I see your Superman in your logo. Let's see. I remember not liking it that much. But this time, I really dug it, at least up to the Doomsday stuff. At this point, it kind of becomes a generic superhero bleh. Yeah, I am. I'm interested to see what the Snyder Cut does that's different from, and I know you're probably talking about Batman v Superman, but I'm interested to see what Snyder Cut does that's different from everything else we've got in this universe. We know we'll have the darkness present. We know we'll have certain character traits that didn't really make an appearance in Joss Whedon's Justice League. Hopefully they're not too heavy-handed with the comedic beats that I just don't think worked with Justice League. I want it to be just epic, this crazy, exciting, almost big brawl. I want a big third act, exciting, action-packed thrill ride. And I think that's what we're going to get with this movie. I hope so. But again, it's sitting in my inbox. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to be watching the Snyder Cut. Let's see. DC, Big Oso. Yeah. All right. Hey, bud, I got introduced to your channel through your epic review of Batman v Superman. Oh, very cool. My question is there a future with Zack Snyder in Warner Brothers? So a lot of people are saying that there is. There are certain people in our industry that are actually tweeting. They're like, hey, Zack Snyder could be doing this. He could be doing all these future projects for DC. And I don't know if I believe that just yet, because here's what I think is happening. I think Warner Brothers is just sitting with their arms crossed and they're saying, what's the response going to be to the Snyder Cut? How are people going to, and what are the numbers going to be? Because all we care about is the numbers. And that's kind of their mentality, but we'll see. I don't know. I would love to see it. I still think we should get a proper Man of Steel sequel. I've been on that train for a while. I'm not jumping off just yet. We'll have to see what happens with the Snyder Cut. Do I think the Snyder Cut could be this crazy, incredible masterpiece that's going to change the whole game? We'll see. It's really tough when you're dealing with a 4-hour movie, but hey, it's divided into 6 parts. There are a lot of different aspects that could get people excited. So I hope so. I would like to see it. But again, Zack Snyder, my issues with certain things about his films are less so like visually, obviously they're spectacular. I just hope they can kind of get the story right with this Justice League movie. But I think it's at least going to be better. And that's honestly all we can ask for. As long as it's better, I'm going to be happy. If I sit here and waste 4 hours, I'm going to be upset. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm genuinely excited for the movie now. We got a Tobey Maguire quote. You want forgiveness? Get religion. The Bully Maguire quotes are my favorite quotes of all time. And they're just going to get crazier and crazier when the new Spider-Man comes out, if he actually makes that appearance. So I'm excited. I'm seeing The Father today as well, says Robert Burns. Very, very nice. Hey, Austin, just wanted to share my latest review of Breaking Bad was mentioned. The host of live stream, Vince Gilligan, was a big moment. Hey, man, I saw you said that before on one of my live streams. Hey, that's pretty sweet. Anytime you get a mention by the man, Vince Gilligan, I think that is super duper cool, man. So congratulations. That is a big moment, I'm sure, for you, especially since you just recently started. And I'm very excited to see the potential. And anytime you're starting out and you get an opportunity like that, or you get a big moment, I think that's super cool. So congratulations, man, Shashank, big supporter of this channel. And you're always so kind. So I do appreciate your questions. Austin, do you have Gold Derby to predict award shows? I don't actually have. I've never done anything official on it. I just do it on my own time, my own pace. Like, I feel like if I start doing that, then it's going to be bad. Because I love stuff like that, and I get like addicted to stuff like that. Because like with football, I'll occasionally get on DraftKings. I'll be like, "Ooh, let's see what we can do now," and I feel like I never stop. But I would like to officially get into it and like submit my name for some things, because like last year I got a lot right, but some of the award shows other than the Oscars, and then this year some of the award shows other than the Oscars, I'm like, man, if I was on Gold Derby, this would be embarrassing. So hey, we'll see. Maybe one of these days. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats here, guys. By the way, if you're here again, and I know I keep saying this, but if you want to support this vid by smashing the thumbs up button, man, it not only helps this video, but it helps this channel. We're about to hit 100K. Well, we're getting closer. I think it'll be maybe a month or two, but I'm excited to see where this channel goes. And I appreciate you all for helping me out. The goal is always 100 likes on these videos, because for some reason, that's the point where YouTube says, sweet, we're going to show more people. So I'm like, all right, great. But thank you guys for your support on these videos and my normal videos. I won't lie to you. I'll be very transparent. This last week, there was not a lot to talk about. So I wanted to do a couple random videos here and there. I did one on the Batman update yesterday, and you guys showed that video a lot of support. It got more thumbs up than I expected, and it got more love in the comment section than I expected. So thank you for that. Whenever I do videos like that, I'm always like, oh boy, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to respond, but you all responded. So I appreciate you kind of giving me motivation for that. Let's see. Okay. So I'm debating. Excited for the Oscar noms. Will you be going live during the announcement? So every year I've done the Oscar announcements, I haven't been live technically. What I'll do is I'll record my reaction, show the footage on screen, and just talk about it but I'll edit it down. So last year, it would have been 30 minutes. I cut it down to 15 minutes. The reason that I do that is because there's a lot of dead air when I go live, and I do that because they'll take a 5-minute break between some of the nominees, and then maybe sometimes it'll take them 20 minutes to start. So I'm like, if I go live, it'll be kind of more an experience. We'll all get to do it together. But if I don't go live, maybe it'll be a more interesting video for people who want to come back to it. So I'm still debating in my head. Just let me know. I don't like dead air, though. I don't like sitting and let's see what happens here. So let me know what you guys think about tomorrow, and we'll see. I know for the actual Oscars, I won't be live. I'll be recording as I go and editing and then uploading afterward. But for something like this, we will just have to see. All right, we got Carrie is taking the Oscar. Ooh, we already got predictions. Jesse Mann says, did you hear about the Cocaine Bear movie? Yes, I did. And the director, Elizabeth Banks, I did. That's actually like interesting. First of all, it takes place in Kentucky, which is the funniest thing. Maybe there's a cocaine bear outside, but no, it sounds like a wild, wild film. And I looked into it, and I think it's going to be interesting. So we will see. Somebody asked, have you already seen the Snyder Cut? No, you may have just joined. I mentioned at the beginning, it is sitting in my mailbox. We'll have to go watch it after this. So as soon as I'm done here, I'm going straight to see the Snyder Cut, and I'll have a reaction for you guys tomorrow at noon. So be on the lookout. Turn on the notification bell, all those things. If you get it, sometimes YouTube's like, nah, we're not going to show them your stuff. We're just going to put it out, and nobody's going to see it. But if you want to hit the notification bell, that'll tell you when my Snyder Cut review goes up tomorrow at noon. So we will just have to see. Do you think Maria Bakalova is Oscar worthy? I 100% do. So I will say this. I think from a performance standpoint, what she did, the way that she committed, I think so. It's very tough when you're comparing it to other roles because obviously this isn't, I mean, it's scripted to a degree, but it's not the kind of role that we're used to, right? So when you start maybe picking it apart from that perspective, it's like, well, there were other actual performances that were maybe like a bit better in that sense. But the fact that she was so committed to doing what she was doing, I don't have a problem with it at all. Like if she gets a nomination, I'm gonna be like, yeah, she really crushed what she had to do. And she kind of like made a fool of herself in front of other people to commit to this movie, to commit to this role. And oh my God, I mean, Sacha Baron Cohen does it brilliantly. I think she kept up with him. I think she genuinely like matched his level of awkwardness and intensity. And I think just from that perspective, yeah, I think she is kind of worthy for a nomination. So it'll be cool to see. It'll be very cool to see. Who would have thought years ago Borat is going to get some Oscar nominations? Borat, that is absolutely insane. What do you think will be the shock nomination tomorrow? I hope it's Alan Kim. I hope it's Alan Kim from Minari for Best Supporting Actor. But I think it's going to be a snub. I think there are going to be a few snubs that maybe I didn't even think of. Who knows? Maybe Bakalova gets snubbed. Maybe Vanessa Kirby for Best Actress gets snubbed. Maybe a lot of people will think Chadwick for Supporting Actor will be a snub. I prefer Alan Kim, so I won't have a huge problem with it, just because Chadwick's going to probably win Best Actor. Speaking of Best Actor, I think Gary Oldman could be a snub. I think Mank in general could be a big snubbed movie across the board. So we'll just have to see. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Ooh, I like this. You a fan of Naruto? I'm kind of getting into anime, and do you have any other recommendations? My friends, oh my God, my friends have been asking me, Austin, watch Naruto. Austin, come on, man. I just haven't. I've watched episodes. I just haven't really like caught up and watched it all the way through because there's so much and I have so much to watch and review. So that's the only reason. But in terms of anime, I'm a couple episodes behind on Attack on Titan. Brilliant. One Punch Man. Brilliant. Hunter V, Hunter X Hunter, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people call it different things. I just started watching that. I watched the first episode and I really, really enjoyed it. So it's hard to go back and catch up on things when you're I love catch up when you're reviewing so many movies and things like that. But there's definitely a lot of great anime out there. And if you guys have recommendations for me, let me know. Austin, have you heard that there's a lack of Tenet screeners at the Oscars? There were no Tenet screeners at the Oscars. I didn't get anything. And I'm a part of the Critics' Choice Association. I got screeners across the board. I got a screener for the Truffle Hunters documentary, and I didn't get a Tenet screener. They did not push that movie. They pushed Wonder Woman 1984, and they did not push Tenet. Now, I got soundtrack, I got the score, I got the technical things. But in terms of getting the actual movie for like a best picture push or a best actor push or anything like that, nothing. And I got everything else from Warner Brothers. So they just did not push Tenet at all. So, that's maybe they didn't have the confidence, but we'll just have to see. I have some super chats that I need to get to before I miss. We have AJ Taylor. Now, let me make sure before AJ asked his question that I did not miss anything. Well, it's not even showing me anything before AJ's question. So if you asked a super chat before AJ, let me know because I missed it. You can ask the question. But again, I'll be on the lookout for it. Tony Scott's training day. We got a director swap. Tony Scott's training day. Antoine Fuqua's Enemy of the State. Woo! I got to go Fuqua's Enemy of the State. I'm going to go Fuqua's Enemy of the State because his training day is very hard to match or make better in a sense of the word. And I like Tony Scott as a director, but I actually prefer Fuqua's style. So I'd like to see his Enemy of the State. Again, if you asked a question before AJ, for some reason, is not pulling them up. So we'll just have to see. Falcon B says, everyone needs to go watch Austin on Ronald E. Smith's channel. Yeah, it's on the community page right now. If you guys missed that, I opened up as much as anyone could open up and talked about a lot of things, anxiety, some very personal things, my wife, her influence on me, and then I may or may not have mentioned y'all and how supportive you all are on that video. So if you want to go check that out and just learn more about my personal life and what I do behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff, that would be absolutely awesome. But man, what a great job Ron Smith does. And the guy's not even at 100 subscribers. Can we get him to 100 subscribers? It's on my community page. Oh my God, he just interviewed Marquette King, the punter that used to kick for the NFL. Like, this guy's doing big things, and I think he deserves more subs. And I don't often all right, guys, you need to go do that, but he's incredible. Did such a great job interviewing me, and that was a very emotional experience. So if you guys want to go check that out, you have pre-access to Justice League. I do. I didn't think I would because this video is not sponsored by Monster. I didn't think I would because they were very. It was a bit of a back and forth trying to figure out, okay, am I going to get it? Am I not going to get it? And then all of a sudden, I get an email and they're like, hey, this weekend. So I sat all day Saturday. Well, really all day Friday and Saturday. I'm just like, I want to know if I want to get it. I'm not going to complain if I don't. Do I really deserve it? Probably not. But last night I got the email. So yeah, it is there. I just got to go watch it. So we'll have to see. All right, we got Andre the Turtle. If you could pick one nomination and one win at this year's Oscars, what would they be? Keep up good work. If I could pick a nomination, it would be Palm Springs for something. I don't care what it is. Kind of screenplay. I would pick Palm Springs maybe for screenplay just because what that does for the comedy genre. But okay, all right, it's a comedy, whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. Palm Springs, I think, deserves some sort of nomination. A win, though. So to pick a win, I'm thinking something that is going to be nominated. So what would I pick to win? But again, I would say The Father, but I don't think The Father is going to get the Best Picture nomination. I think it's going to be the final snub. So if The Father gets nominated for Best Picture, I would pick that to win, but I don't think it has any shot to win. Something that I do think has a shot to win, part of me wants to say maybe Minari or Promising Young Woman for Best Picture. I want to say Soul for Best Animated Movie, but then I'm like, well, I did love Wolfwalker, so I wouldn't really be upset. There's not that one category, there's not that one person, movie, whatever, that stands out as, oh, this is the best of the best. If that doesn't get a nomination or if that doesn't get a win, I'm going to destroy myself because, again, last year, in comparison, especially to 2019, it was a weaker year. So I'm not going to be crazy upset, but there will be a few, if they were to snub Anthony Hopkins for Best Actor, I would be very, very upset. If they were to snub Minari for Best Picture, yeah, you're going to see me upset. No, you know what? I take that back for the first question. I would love to see Mads Mikkelsen or Maz Mikkelsen, as people I'm bad at pronouncing names sometimes. Mikkelsen to get a Best Actor nominee. I just don't think there's a real shot at it, but that would make my day. That would make my life, and I would absolutely love to see it. Really good question. Really good question, Andre the Turtle. I like it. Nate Singer says, what director do you think is able to compile the best soundtracks, maybe besides Tarantino? Well, we're going to have to see what James Gunn does with Suicide Squad, but I think that James Gunn really, really rocks it when he gets a good soundtrack together. And really most of his films, even what was the movie Super, has a really good soundtrack to it. Another director with good soundtrack. Edgar Wright. I think Edgar Wright is the clear winner there, other than Tarantino, who always rocks it with a good soundtrack. But I think Edgar Wright always manages to compile, I think, the perfect songs for his movies. From Shaun of the Dead to, obviously, Baby Driver. The movie is driven through the soundtrack. So, I definitely think Edgar Wright is your answer there. Why does nobody want Vanessa Kirby to win an Oscar? I want Vanessa Kirby to win an Oscar. I just don't think there's a shot. I think she'll get nominated. I think she's the 4th or 5th spot. She is probably, and I've said this before, she's probably my favorite out of the group, though, even though everybody was genuinely great. So we'll just have to see. Let's see here. Still the same question, Austin, brother. It's just too much to watch now. How do you keep you keep peace with yourself, man? I got a lot of stuff to watch, man. It's just, you got to stay motivated. You've got to really be on top of things, and you have to have patience for when you get tired or when you have to wake up at 3 a.m. to watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier or WandaVision. You have to stay patient in that regard. And I try to. It's a struggle sometimes, but I absolutely strive to be the best I can be when it comes to getting things out on time and reviewing things. I know recently I've been a bit later with my Netflix reviews, but I'm just trying to keep on top of everything. So thank you guys for staying patient with me. It really means a lot. Jonathan says, who is your favorite Black actor? Oh man, probably Denzel. I think Denzel, well, Samuel L. Jackson is definitely, but I think Denzel has this confidence about him that even when he has a role where even though most of his roles, he's a very confident person, he has this confidence about him that I think sets him apart from most other actors in general. I truly think he's one of the best in the business. I would say top 5 to 10 actors working right now. Now, has he done that Oscar role recently that kind of back to Denzel Washington form? Not necessarily, but I just think he is a phenomenal performer. And he's one of those actors that I will always come back to and say, I can watch anything that he does, absolutely anything. So definitely one of the best in the business. Daquan says, I just saw that Avatar 2 and Aquaman 2 open around the same week. Do you think one of them will move? I think absolutely. I think absolutely one of them will move. There's no way they both stay that close to each other. Now, there's still a chance, whether box office is back on track or whatever happens with that, but one of them's going to move, and I think it actually may be. Avatar 2. Surprisingly enough, I think Aquaman 2 has a better chance to make maybe a little bit more money, at least domestically. But we will just have to see. One day, Monster will sponsor you. One of these days. Let's see. I had a good question here. They're flying in, guys. I'm trying to keep up with the questions. Some of them keep disappearing. Have you watched Raya and the Last Dragon? Yes, my review is on my channel. If you did, what did you think? I thought it was so good. By the way, yeah, you can check out my review. It's on my channel. Just go back through my videos about a week and a half ago. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very, very good Disney movie. Marquette King is a legend. We need more punters like him and Pat McAfee. Oh, Pat McAfee is a beast. He's one of my favorites. Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus. Oh, my God. It's so funny. My brother was here recently, and we were watching that video. And we were watching a lot of his videos. The guy with the voice, and he just does top 10s, top 15s. That's very weird that you said that, procrastinators. Burger King foot lettuce was a very popular Vine back in the day. Favorite Joaquin Phoenix movie, Lucy Wood, If She Could. I love that name, by the way. The Master is one of his, I'd say maybe his best performance. Walk the Line is probably one of my favorite movies of his. Her probably is my favorite movie. Her and Joker, I'd say, would be the two movies that I respond to the best. But also, man, I'd say all 4 of them, I think. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Am I forgetting a great Joaquin Phoenix movie? Oh, Gladiator. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Joaquin Phoenix has been in everything. Gladiator may be my favorite one. So I'd say those 5 are the top Joaquin Phoenix movies, but it's hard to pick. If I had to pick a best performance, even over the Joker, I would say The Master. I would say The Master, then Joker, then probably Walk the Line. I'd say those are his 3 best performances, at least that I've seen. I've missed a couple of movies here and there, but great question. Oh my God, great question. We have Wade West said, saw the interview, some real talk that inspired me to keep going on my own channel. You're a good man, and I have the utmost respect for your brother. Thank you, Wade West, and your support always means a lot. I always recognize your name, seeing you ask questions, so thank you so much for that. Again, I'm just so impressed with the way Ronald was able to conduct that interview and get me to say some things that I was very hesitant to say, and talk about moments in my life that, you know, are very personal to me. So that was fun. It was emotional, but it was very fun. And thank you for watching that, man. It means a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to Ronald as well. So I appreciate that, Wade. Honor Immortal says, who's more accurate? Hawkeye or Legolas? Oh my goodness, what a question. I would say Hawkeye. I would say Hawkeye. No, I'm sorry. You know what? I would say Legolas. Never mind, because Hawkeye is always very confident, but he's still human. Legolas is not human. And I feel like just he has almost, it's like in his genes to be like the ultimate warrior and to be so freaking accurate. So I would say Legolas. Technically, Hawkeye is the new Legolas. That's what Tony Stark said in the Avengers. But I would say Legolas is more accurate. But again, I don't really have a comparison there in my head. I'm like, I don't necessarily know how to compare those two. But man, that is a that is a great question. All right, let's see. What do we have next? I've got to make sure I didn't miss any good super chats. We have Tyler Van. Thoughts on Peter Weir, underrated Australian director. Peter Weir directed, did he direct The Truman Show? I think he directed The Truman Show. He did Dead Poets Society. He did Master and Commander. I think he's a great director. The Truman Show is still like, he has this very distinct style about him that not everyone can capture, but I think he is a phenomenal director, a phenomenal talent, and I would love to see him do something beyond his early 2000s, late 90s movies that really captured. I even really like Master and Commander. That's one of those movies that I watched in one of my film classes, and I'm like, okay, I'm not really in the mood for this because we were going to have to write a report over it, but after we watched it, I'm like, yeah, this is a good movie, and I see why it got nominated for so many awards. So Master and Commander, very good movie, very underrated movie. But obviously, my favorite of his is The Truman Show. The Truman Show is just such a freaking good movie. And Jim Carrey's performance in that film is exquisite. Let's get some normal chats here. We got favorite Daniel Day-Lewis role. Not necessarily my favorite movie, that is There Will Be Blood, but I just like, it's how was he Abraham Lincoln? It's like they traveled back in time and said, Abraham Lincoln, come be in this movie. I've still to this day never understood, as I scratch my back awkwardly on camera, how they managed to get him to give a performance that lifelike. Like, how you imagine Abraham Lincoln is what Daniel Day-Lewis was able to accomplish there. But my favorite movie of his is clearly There Will Be Blood. I love Gangs of New York. I just think he's maybe the best actor of all time. Maybe. Are you excited for The Matrix 4? Yes, I think it's going to be interesting. Hopefully they go bit of a different route than the sequels that we've already seen, but I'm definitely excited for it. Do you think the Oscar cycle, this one specifically, will stay in the future, or do you think next year's cycle will be the shortest ever? Yeah, I do. I think they're going to go back to normal, because normally we're getting the nominations in February, folks. It's March, and we're not getting the ceremony until like April 25th or something like that. So I think it's going to be the shortest Oscar cycle we've ever seen. So maybe it's going to be difficult because so many movies are coming out, but maybe it won't be as difficult because there's less time to release more movies, if that makes sense. So I'm definitely interested to see what happens. Favorite Monster flavor, it is actually not the green. It's the light blue, which I believe is the, what is it? Tangerine. It's the Splash. It's the one that just came out. I can't remember what the flavor is, but it's freaking fantastic. But they don't sell it in bulk at Sam's Club, so unfortunately we have the green. I knew you'd mention The Master. Yeah, The Master is one of the greatest of all time. Animated movies that resonated with you the most: Spider-Verse, The Incredibles, Toy Story in general, and Spirited Away, one of my absolute favorites of all time. And Your Name is really coming into the conversation for me. The 2016 anime film, absolutely incredible. Hi, you working on your Harry Potter video? I can tell you this. I've finished Harry Potter. I'm looking for the right time slot to put that video in. I may or may not have already filmed it, so I don't know. Y'all just have to see. But I'm waiting, because I'm waiting for, this week was less busy, but I didn't have it all finished at that point. Now that it's like almost fully edited, I'm like, all right, when can I release it? I know it won't be this week because we have the Snyder Cut, we have Falcon Winter Soldier, we have some Netflix things, we have the Oscar reactions. Oh my God. I'm not going to sleep this week, but I'm ready for it. But I'm just waiting for some time, maybe in a couple weekends when we go out of town, go visit my parents. I may post it that Saturday. So be on the lookout on a weekend for a Harry Potter tier list, because I've been waiting for that. Ocean Man, Take Me by the Hand to the Land. SpongeBob 2004 influenced me deeply. Ocean Man, it's still OG movie. I mean, the other ones just don't come close. I'm sorry. I love me some SpongeBob in general, but the other movies do not come close to that first one. Did you watch Outside the Wire? What did you think? Was that the Netflix film? Am I thinking of that right? Let me pull out the old trustworthy phone. Outside the Wire. I believe that was the Netflix film. Or maybe I'm crazy. Oh, my Letterboxd. Why did my Letterbox sign me out? I've never been signed out of Letterbox before. All right, let's get on here then. So let's see. Outside the Wire. Yes, I did watch that one. I didn't love it. Let me make sure that's the one I'm thinking of. Outside the Wire. Let's see. Yeah, so I didn't love that movie. It had its flaws. It had its issues. And there's a lot of interesting things in it. I thought the cast was really good. I thought there were moments, but it just wasn't one that I was fully a fan of. I think there was something missing, unfortunately. But it's definitely not the worst movie of the year. I did recently watch what I believe to be the worst movie of the year, and that is something called Cosmic Sin. So if you follow me on Letterboxd and you want to go check out my review for Cosmic Sin, you can go check that out. I gave a list of things that I could have bought instead of purchasing Cosmic Sin, like a rubber ducky or a lot of things that I could have purchased instead of watching that movie. Bruce Willis was in it. So Honor Immortal says greatest vampire: Blade, Morbius, Dracula. I mean, I got to go with Dracula. He's the OG. He's the reason there is a Blade or a Morbius, to be honest with you. But do not look past Blade, especially when he is portrayed by Mahershala Ali in future movies. Oh my God. I still can't believe they cast Mahershala Ali as Blade. Absolutely incredible. Are we going to get a Falcon and Winter Soldier review just like WandaVision? Yeah, I'm planning on going weekly. I still don't know about the screeners. They had a premiere where they invited a lot of people that do junkets. I don't do junkets. I don't do interviews on this channel. I probably need to start doing that, but I don't. So I didn't get to be a part of that premiere. But if it's anything like WandaVision, last time they sent me the screeners for WandaVision 2 days before the premiere. So be on the lookout maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. And if you don't see a non-spoiler review, then you'll definitely see a spoiler review on Friday. So I am so excited to bring back those spoiler reviews for Marvel. And it's one of those things that I just love doing. So I do not care getting up that early every single Friday. Do you think another round will pull in a more? All I can tell you, Michael, is I think another round should win. God, I hope it wins. Oh my God, I hope it wins for best international feature. But there's always a possibility that there is a snub, but there's also a possibility that another round gets some extra nominations here and there. We will just have to see, man. If another round doesn't get nominated, my heart will be broken. I will absolutely just perish into dust, and you'll get to see all of it because I'm doing my reaction video. So we'll just have to see. Any thoughts on the Razzies nominations? Glenn Close got nominated. Yeah. Could we actually see her nominated for both an Oscar and a Razzie for the same performance? Yeah, the Razzies kind of scared me, but then again, the Razzies are just a joke. Like, they're built to be a joke. They're meant to be a joke. So I do think it's very possible, though. You guys saw I nominated Glenn Close. Now, I do think Jodie Foster could easily slide in there, but Best Supporting Actress is so up in the air. We'll just have to see. My only thing is, critics didn't like Hillbilly Elegy. What do the voting body think? Because that's what matters. Who cares what critics think? Who cares what I think? The voting body. That's what matters when it comes to this. So we'll just have to see. Raya or Mulan. I don't know if you're talking about the classic Mulan. Probably the classic, because not the remake, but the classic Mulan. It's actually pretty close. I'd still go Mulan. I have nostalgia for Mulan. I grew up with Mulan. It's one of the best Disney animated movies in my opinion. But man, Raya got a little close for comfort there. It's a very, very good movie. Yeti Fawn says you can add 3 categories for the Oscars. Oh, Yeti Fawn. Yeti Fawn on the Patreon live stream last week. We did 2014 movies. Talked a lot of Whiplash, and Yeti Fawn was on that. So I'm going to say stunt work. I'm going to say maybe ensemble. Well, maybe not. Ensemble is a tough one because then it's like, okay, well, you can just do the best picture. Stunt work, I'll throw an ensemble because it's tough to think of a third one. And then voice acting. Now, I don't know how you do that necessarily. Would Caesar from Planet of the Apes be voice acting? Would some of these CGI like a Thanos, would that be voice acting, or do you count the motion capture? I don't know. I don't have those answers. But I think voice acting is a great category. A performance like Scarlett Johansson and Her, a performance like Tom Hanks as Woody. Oh, my God. So give me a voice acting category. Give me a stunt work category. But all the rules and the logistics behind that, you're asking the wrong guy because I do not have an answer for you. Jonathan said, what's your favorite movie based on a true story? Oh, man, that's so tough, Jonathan. It's such a good question. Favorite movie? I'm trying to think through my favorite movies of all time. Which one is based on a true story? Avengers? No. Man, I don't know. What do you guys have? What do you guys have? Favorite movies based on a true story? I just don't know. I'll come back to that, Jonathan, when I get down to where you guys are answering. Because off the top of my head, I'm just trying to think of my favorites of all time list. Because most of my favorites are extremely fictional films. So we'll just have to see. Yeah. I'll come back to that, Jonathan. I'll hang on to that one. Worst actor Oscar upset. So snubbed from being an Oscar. Well, I'll say recently Adam Sandler, absolutely snubbed for Uncut Gems. Jonathan Pryce got in. Okay. He was great, but okay. Jake Gyllenhaal for Nightcrawler. I recently tweeted about that on Twitter at the Burkinator. I recently tweeted at it. Man, that made me livid. I was absolutely livid. Hugh Jackman in Prisoners. Okay. I mean, you're not going to nominate one of the best performances I've ever seen from the man, and a performance that I think is easily Oscar worthy when you compare it to some other performances from that year. So yeah, there have been quite a few recently. All time is a bit more difficult. I'd have to go think about it because obviously recency bias, but it's a great question. Lucy would if she could. Bale or Affleck Batman? I got to go Bale because it's like I grew up with Bale. I have nostalgia for Bale, but don't sleep on Affleck's Batman, especially, and we'll see after we see the Snyder Cut performance from him. Because my issue with his Batman and Justice League is he did a complete 180 and there wasn't a lot to tell us why. Maybe in the Snyder Cut we'll get some more reasoning. We'll get some better reasoning. And I think Ben Affleck crushes it as Batman. So I'm excited to see that. Damon says, hi, Austin. Are you excited for Invincible to drop on Amazon next week? I can tell you this, Damon. I have seen the first 3 episodes of Invincible, and I can't say anything just yet, but oh my God, I'm excited. I'm so excited. You know why I'm excited? Because I want to see more. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe I want to see more because it's bad. Maybe it's not good. I can't say why, but I want to see more. I can tell you that much. Andy says, finally seeing The Father tonight feels like it has been at the top of my want to see list for forever. Just got to get through the 5-hour shift at work. Andy, push through, my friend, push through. You've got this, man. I'm excited for you to see The Father. I think it's an absolutely beautiful movie. It is unlike anything you will ever see. I can promise you that. And especially if you have a family member that has suffered from dementia or Alzheimer's. Yeah, that's the word. Then yeah, You're going to get very emotional while watching that film. Thomas Jones says, hey, what's up, man? Hope you're well. Thomas, I am absolutely spectacular. I did right before I get on, maybe it was a different Thomas, but I saw I was tagged in something on Twitter, Thomas, so I'll respond to you after this live stream. I've not really been on my phone this morning, but thank you so much. And nice to see you come back to our Patreon live stream, my friend. Sun Brown says, loved Frank Grillo in Boss Level. Yeah, I loved him in Boss Level, and then I watched Cosmic Sin, and my heart broke. But he was so good and entertaining in Boss Level. And I'll tell you what, guys, that's got to be one of the biggest surprises of the year so far for me. I had a blast with that film. What is your least favorite Best Picture winner? It's not my least favorite. I mean, you could do the obvious like Crash, like, okay. But the one that frustrates me the most is The King's Speech. I like The King's Speech. I think it's a really good movie. It's just not near as good as most of the other nominees that year. So that really flustered me and got under my skin. And I'm just like, why did that happen? But it's not my least favorite. It's just the one that gets me frustrated more than any of these other ones that I think of. But I'd have to think about it. I mean, Crash is the obvious answer, so I'm going to say that. But we'll see. I Am Not Batman says, I think Mank is going to underperform altogether at the Oscars. Yeah, I do too. I think it's the one movie that could be snubbed and everybody's going to be like, oh, and I'm just going to be like, I mean, I didn't expect it, but it's got a better chance than most of the other films. Now, that's not to say I didn't like Mank. I really enjoy Mank, but it's just like, it's a very niche. It's a very niche film. Austin, tell us your favorite season from The Office. 2 or 4? 2 or 4 or 6. Oh my gosh. It's not 1. It's not 8. It's not 9. I think 2 through 7 are phenomenal. Really 2 through 6. Oh my God. Because, 7 is when Michael leaves. And then from there on, I'm just like, I don't like it as much. So 2 through 6. I think that deserves a tier list or something, because that is such a tough conversation to have. Because you guys know it's one of my favorite shows of all time. But that's a great question. Austin, you like potatoes? I like potatoes. What's that? Eduardo from Foster's Home from Imaginary Friends. That was a bad impression. Oh, man. Let's move on. Tyler Van says, better comedy director, Adam McKay, Jay Roach. I got to go Adam McKay. I think Adam McKay is, and I like Jay. Like I know him, first name basis. Jay's pretty cool. I'll shoot him a text after this. No, I think Adam McKay is just a phenomenal comedy director, and he's veered into drama. Of course, but Adam McKay has really like Oscar-worthy, that kind of director. So he's one of my faves. I've got to go Adam McKay, a great director. Social Network, you're talking, yeah, that's the year that the Social Network should have won, The King's Speech. I think Social Network should have won. I think Inception was even my favorite movie of that year. I would have put Toy Story 3 above it. I would have put The Fighter above it. I would have put Black Swan above it. The list goes on. But again, I like The King's Speech. I think it's really good, but it's, let's see. How's your life? How you doing? Doing pretty good. I don't know if you can hear my stomach growling right now, but I'm pretty hungry. I didn't eat anything this morning. So other than that, I'm doing pretty good, man. Do you love Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels? I've only seen that once, and I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say love, but I'd say I thoroughly enjoyed it. So we'll just have to see. I don't know. Let's see. Well, I will have to go back to it and revisit it and log in on Letterbox to see what my actual score is. But I really remember enjoying that film. Let's see. Social Network. Yeah, we got a lot of talking. The movie that should have won. Let me make sure. I feel like I missed a super chat here, guys, and I don't want to do that if you're asking super chats. Okay, here we go. Procrastinator says, have you seen the absolute classic Cool Cat Saves the Kids? No, I've never heard of that. Procrastinators. I've never heard of that. So yeah, I don't know what that is. But it's a super chat, so I can come back to the question, maybe see what it is. I don't know if this is like a joke, though. It seems like a joke movie, so I don't know what that is. Let's see. You should do a Studio Ghibli marathon. I would love to do a Studio Ghibli marathon. It's one of those studios that you can't go wrong with, until Earwig and the Witch, which I didn't love. But you can't really go wrong with any of their movies. Man, I've got to see Superman and Lois. I've heard nothing but good things. The clips that I've seen are like, way better than most of the CW shows. And not that I hate CW shows, it's just like I really enjoy them, but it's hard to keep up with them. And there's so much other things that I have to review. It's like, here's a show I can drop off. All right, let's go to the other thing. But I've heard great things and it looks great, so I can't wait to go watch it. My buddy 3C Films keeps telling me, he's like, dude, you've got to watch Superman and Lois. So I need to go watch it. Charles says, are Sir Ian and Harrison Ford the only actor with two iconic characters? And which one would you pick? I'm sure there's more. I mean, you could say Patrick Stewart, because Patrick Stewart, he's got Star Trek, he's got X-Men. And there are a lot of actors in that. What's his name? That was in Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. Not Sauron, but Saruman. And man, Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee's got two big-time performances like that. But out of these two, I would say just talking the main performances. So Harrison Ford with Indy and Han Solo, Ian McKellen with Magneto and Lord of the Rings, obviously. I would say from that standpoint, I'd say Ian McKellen. But I think overall, I prefer Harrison Ford as an actor. But just comparing those big four performances, I'd say Ian McKellen, because how do you go wrong with Gandalf? I mean, how do you go wrong with Gandalf? And then Magneto, one of the greatest villains of all time, brought to life in such an incredible way. So, yeah, that would be my pick. But again, out of both of those, I think overall, I would pick Harrison Ford. That's a very tough question to ask, though. Let's see. Ghibli tier list. Yeah, I'd love to work on a Ghibli tier list. Austin, he said The Social Network because it's a film based on true story. Oh, man, I was way behind. I was way behind on questions. I was wondering why everybody was saying The Social Network. I thought we were still talking about it not winning over The King's Speech. But yeah, that's definitely it. That's definitely the best one because that's in my top 10 movies of all time. Look at you all. Man, that shows how behind I was on questions. But man, thank you so much for that. That's absolutely my choice. Absolutely my choice. Are you disappointed that Better Call Saul is getting robbed by most award studios? Yeah, I am. It's one of those things that really, really bugs me because Better Call Saul is such a phenomenal show. You guys know it was one of my favorite episodes or favorite seasons of television last year. And now, on top of all of this, it's been pushed to 2022. Sigh, man. Absolute sigh. Did you grow up with DuckTales and Kim Possible? Not DuckTales. I love DuckTales, but I didn't necessarily grow up with it. It's one of those that I had to go back and revisit when I was a bit older, but absolutely Kim Possible. I love Kim Possible growing up. Ron Stoppable, Kim Possible and his naked mole rat. Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows growing up. Let's see. Procrastinator says you should react to the cool to the Cool Cat trailer on stream. Yeah, I have a feeling this is a joke, and I don't want to do that, procrastinators, because copyright. That will kick me in the butt. It's been kicking a lot of people in the butt lately. You guys notice when I do trailer reactions, I usually like make it to where you can't see it in the corner. Well, you can still see it, but it's in the corner. I lower the volume on the music because copyright is like getting channels suspended for a week at a time now. So when you see me do my reaction video to Falcon and Winter Soldier, you're going to see the logo. You're going to see it jumping on screen. A lot of that, and people ask me that all the time. They're like, dude, why can't we see the video? And I'm like, I wish you could see the video, but YouTube is really cracking down on that stuff. So my apologies for that in the future with reaction videos, but you've got to do what you got to do, and I got to keep this channel afloat. Unfortunately, that is the way it is. Let's see. Do you think The Little Things has a chance to win or be nominated for an Oscar? I still think Jared Leto has a shot. I really hope he doesn't get it. Not that I think Jared Leto's a bad actor. This performance was not it for me. It was not it for me. So I hope it's Alan Kim. I hope it's Chadwick Boseman for The Five Bloods. I hope it's one of those two. We'll just have to see. Or anybody from Trial of Chicago 7 as a supporting actor. Ooh. Breaking Bad is way better than Saul. Better Call Saul is overrated. I don't know if you've caught up with the most recent season. I would have said that maybe after season 2. I would have said, not overrated, but I would say like, yeah, Breaking Bad's still a lot better. But now that we're caught up all the way, I don't think that's the case. At least for me. I know opinions, and obviously they're going to vary, but I do not think it is an overrated show. I think the last 2 seasons have cemented that it is, at least on that level of quality. Now, do I prefer Breaking Bad, absolutely, but I think it's on that level of quality, absolutely. Thoughts on The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? That's a show I grew up with. Man, that show was so much fun. It's ridiculous, but hilarious, and I loved it. So it'd be one I would love to go back and rewatch. I think it's on HBO Max, right? Where is it? Not HBO Max. Is it HBO Max? I think so. So I'd love to go revisit it. Nuclear Venom says, thoughts, the Russo brothers. I love the Russo brothers. Cherry's not their best movie, but I still got something out of it that I don't think a lot of people other people got out. And then their Marvel movies are incredible. My top 4 Marvel movies are all the Russo brothers films. So, and it's not like this bias I've developed for the Russo brothers. It's just I really like their style with Marvel, at least. I think Cherry, there were some questionable moments, but overall, I really enjoy the Russo brothers. Good question. What happened at the end of Inception? I think he is in the real world. Oh, the question of the ages. I used to think that. Right now, I'm on the boat of, it's tough. I'm on the boat of maybe he was in a dream. That's kind of where I'm at right now. But again, it's the not divisive. It's the up in the air endings that Nolan often leaves us with, or just the epic cliffhangers that sometimes he'll revisit with, his sequels to The Dark Knight, but then sometimes it leaves us Interstellar. I mean, he was going off to get Anne Hathaway's character. I just really love his endings, and I love a good ending that makes you think or makes you talk about it, because without that ending, I mean, obviously we would have talked about the film because it was cool, but the conversation continues, and outrageous, just they have to make sense. They can't be ridiculous. Like Uncut Gems, I know a lot of people had a problem with that ending. For me, that made all of the sense in the world. Like, I thought that was the only way to end that movie, because his character trajectory, for me, it would have been sloppy writing maybe if they would have went a different route, but a lot of people didn't like that. So it all comes down to opinions and whatnot. I know I went off on a tangent, but man, I love the way Nolan ends his films. I think he was in a dream. Man, it's so, ask me on a different day. Jedediah says, first, everyone needs to go watch your interview with Ronald E. Smith. Oh, man, I'm glad you watched that. Thank you so much. Phenomenal stuff. Second, interested in doing a Harley Quinn HBO Max ranking reviews. I got to catch up on Harley Quinn, but I'll tell you what I have seen has been great. Not only that version, that iteration of Harley Quinn, but the humor is like my style of humor. So I definitely want to, when the new season comes out, I definitely want to start talking about it. So, because I love those DC characters that are involved there. I think it's a great version of the Joker. Yeah, man, that would be super duper fun. Harley Quinn is a really underrated show that not enough people are talking about. Charles says, do people mix their Disney and Pixar movies up? Because I do sometimes, although I prefer Disney animation more. Yeah, people do it, and it's easy to do. I have tried to teach myself what is a Disney movie, what is a Pixar movie, so I don't really get them mixed up anymore, but I used to, because some of them are so similar. I mean, I think Wreck-It Ralph maybe feels a bit more Pixar than even Disney at times, because obviously there's no music, and you've got the interesting characters that sometimes resemble similar stories that we get with Pixar. But I think for the most part, to distinguish the two different movies, Pixar has their style, Disney has their style, and both of their styles really work. I still prefer Pixar, but man, we keep getting like Raya and the Last Dragon, and we keep getting something like a Wreck-It Ralph. It's going to be a difficult discussion years down the road. Michael Cera as Riddler. Interesting. It's hard now that I just see Paul Dano and I'm like, that's the Riddler. So it's really tough, but I don't hate that. I really like Michael Cera, and obviously he's a little bit awkward, he's a little bit clumsy at times. That's the kind of characters that he plays. But Michael Cera as the Riddler, I really like that. I prefer Paul Dano, but I like that casting, man. That's good. Somebody said, I miss Michael Cera. Yeah, I do too. He needs to be in more movies. I think he's absolutely hilarious. His awkward delivery is always so on point. Lost in the Reel said, hey, Austin. What's up, Lost in the Reel? Do you think it's odd that Glenn Close is still the front runner for Best Supporting Actress now that she's been nominated for a Razzie? We've seen weirder things. I wouldn't say she's the front runner. Obviously, I think Maria Bakalova is somewhat of a front runner at this point, because she's really the only one that's made a splash other than Jodie Foster, and a lot of people don't even have Jodie Foster to get nominated. So I'd say Bakalova's the front runner. But yeah, people are still hyping up Glenn Close, which is why I predicted her. But oh my God, if she gets an Oscar, it just shows you how big of a joke the Razzies are, because, I mean, they didn't nominate Artemis Fowl for anything. I like that they nominated 365 Days. I like that. But they didn't nominate Artemis Fowl. Come on, y'all. Come on. Somebody said, what is Letterboxd? Make sure I didn't miss a good question here, guys. Yeah, what is Letterboxd? Well, Letterboxd is, in my opinion, let me pull it up on screen here. Letterboxd is a website essentially where you can go in, review, log your movies, put your movies on lists. I have a list for literally every single year I've been alive. And beyond that. And I have a list for all the Marvel movies, all the DC movies that's constantly updating and fluctuating and being different. You see here, you've got my 4 favorite movies of this year so far. And then down here, my recent activity. Let's take a look at this. Cosmic Sin. I didn't do a review on YouTube, and there's why. I gave it a 10%. Okay, we'll talk about it when it comes to my tier list. But Letterboxd is one of my favorite apps, and it's a full-on social media. You get to interact and comment and follow people. So, hey, go check it out. It's one of the coolest things ever. It's on Apple and whatever app downloader you have, probably. What's your favorite movie from Sony? Oh, man, it's hard to pick studios because, like, what's a Sony movie? I don't know. It's really hard to pick what movies were from what studio that aren't the obvious ones. And honestly, Sony doesn't have, like, an obvious one that I think of as one of my favorite movies. Man, that's really tough. I don't know. Hell's Bells. I don't think I can answer that. Maybe I can go to my... As Black Foster said, The Amazing Spider-Man. We know the Spider-Man movies are Sony movies, so if I'm just thinking off the top of my head, well, then it's Spider-Man 2. No. Is it Spider-Verse? I think it's... Well, but again, though, Sony may have given us some of these big Oscar winners, so it's like hard to associate those with studios. What are the Tarantino films? What studio works with Tarantino? Is it Paramount? I feel like it's Paramount. I don't know if his films are Sony. Off the top of my head, it's Spider-Verse, but I know for a fact it's probably not Spider-Verse. It's probably because I have 15, 20 movies that I'm thinking, like, is that a Sony movie? Is that a Sony movie? So we'll just have to see. Yeah, you stumped me. Hell's Bells. You've really stumped me. Frank says, did you grow up with Samurai Jack? Oh, absolutely. Oh my God. And when they did the new season, it was one of the coolest things. Is like my childhood coming back to life, full nostalgia. I loved Samurai Jack as a kid. Let's see. What do you think about Jack's Natalie Portman scene on the set of Thor: Love and Thunder? I love it. I love it because I love the comic book storyline. I don't know if I want to talk about it because some people are like, well, it's a spoiler. No, it's a comic book. It's not a spoiler. Comic book ain't gonna spoil the movie. But something very emotional and tragic happens with Jane Foster in that storyline. And if they are carrying that over, if they are indeed carrying that over, then I'm very interested and excited to see what happens with that. Yeah, somebody said I was buffering, guys. If my stream's lagging, I'm only going to do a couple more questions because we've already hit the hour mark and I got to go watch the Snyder Cut. So I'm going to answer a couple more questions here. We have Beast. The Last Kingdom is truly amazing. Your thoughts? Is another season coming? I adore your channel. Keep up the great work. Oh, thank you so much. I love The Last Kingdom, and I think it is underrated. I think it is truly underrated because not a lot of people are talking about it. I think another season's coming. As far as I know, there's going to be another season, but man, what a great show and what a fun show to talk about on this channel. I was so surprised that so many of you guys were fans of The Last Kingdom. So when I did my review, I was bombarded with questions and conversation. And that's one of the reasons why I love doing all these Netflix reviews. Cause it's like people get in there and they just talk about stuff, hash out their feelings. Sometimes it turns into a little bit of an argument, but as long as we keep it simple, civil, that man, I really love that show. When do you think we'll get Stranger Things 4? I think later on this year, I think in the fall. So I'm definitely interested to see what Stranger Things 4 brings us. It is such a fun show, but it's been a while. It has been a long time since we've seen Stranger Things. Michael, what's up, Michael, over from Patreon? What if you could decide who gets nominated this year? What if you could pick who won? What if you want to vote for Biff? What is that? What? Michael's leaving some forms. I'm interested. Michael, I'm curious. Are we voting? You decide who get nominated. What if you? Oh, I don't know, man. Michael, I don't know what this is necessarily, but all right. Well, let's see. Let's see what this form is. It's saved. The super chats are saved. So I'll go back and see what this is, Michael. But all right. Let's see. Are we voting for an award show here? That would be interesting. By the way, I wanted to do my own award show. I still may do that. We'll have to see. All right, we have, did you ever watch Stardust 2020? No, I've watched Stardust, the Matthew Vaughn movie, which I absolutely loved. One of the first movies I watched with my wife. Begin Again, I believe, was the first. Then Stardust was the second. She actually recommended it. Didn't know it was Matthew Vaughn at the time. I didn't watch Stardust 2020, so apologies, my friend. I can't answer that question. But I think it's on the watch list if it's the one that I'm thinking about. Have you seen Predestination? If not, you should. You're not the first person, Jim, to ask me that question. So I can say that I haven't seen it, but I can say that I am very interested in seeing it. All right. I've heard really, really good things, though, and just the title of Predestination is pretty sweet. Michael says it's an award show I'm hosting. Oh, okay. All right, Michael. I didn't know like the context of that, but that is very interesting, Michael. Well, we'll get on Patreon. We'll discuss it, but yeah, I'll definitely vote. Oh my God, man. Are you kidding? I'll support anything that you do. Venom and a few 007 movies are from Sony. Oh, so man, maybe Skyfall then. Maybe Skyfall's Casino Royale would be in the discussion, but I'd still put Spider-Verse above those. Thank you, Nuclear Venom. It's hard to just think of off the top of my head what comes from each studio. Ooh, I love this. Do you think Chris Pine should play Cyclops? Man. Oh, yeah. Come on, give me some Chris Pine. Give me some Chris Pine to play Cyclops. That would be sweet. I just want Cyclops done right. I don't think the acting has been bad for Cyclops, but I think the characterization has been a little bit off in both versions. So Cyclops is the one. Supreme Comics Girl. What's going on, Supreme Comics Girl? Love your channel. Oh, I love your channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for being here and joining me. Hey, Austin, do you do collaborations? I mean, not crazy often, but get with me on Twitter. If I don't follow, I think I follow you on Twitter. I'm pretty sure. But shoot me a message on Twitter. Yeah, I would love to collab with something, anything. I think that would be super duper fun. Collab with the Oscar expert tomorrow or Tuesday. Tuesday is the plan, unless one of us gets busy. The plan is to go live from this channel on Tuesday and talk about the Oscars, talk about the Oscar nominations. So I'm very, very excited. We're probably going to do snubs and surprises. And the Oscar expert and brother bro. Oh my God. The conversations I've had with those two, just phenomenal. I love those guys. Speaking of collaborations, I just said I don't often do them, but look at that. That's a collaboration. Whiplash is Sony. All right. Gavin with the win. It's over. Mark it down. Write it. Gavin just come in and just stole the whole show. It's over. Whiplash is my favorite Sony movie. I love how the Sony question is the one that we keep coming back to. Whiplash is Sony. Hey, I just watched Whiplash again last week. We did a 2014 live stream on Patreon where everybody came on camera and shared their favorite 2014 movie. And obviously, a lot of that's going to be Whiplash. Whiplash. Mark it down, write it, send it home. That's my favorite Sony movie. Holy cow. That's awesome. All right. Mike says, we'll do a few more of these super chats, guys. Mike says, do you think Lock and Key was badly acted? They weren't exactly Oscar performances, granted, but I've seen multiple complaints and I don't agree. I think there were a few performances that I was questioning, but I wouldn't say bad. I wouldn't say Lock and Key was a bad cast. I enjoyed it. It's a little bit forgettable, to be honest with you, of a show, but I wouldn't say it's horribly acted. I think there were more issues with the pacing and the filmmaking at times, but I wouldn't say horribly acted. I haven't really heard that criticism, but I haven't really looked into the reviews all that much. Some of these Netflix shows I'll just review. I'll put it on Rotten Tomatoes, and I won't really look at the other reviews, which is good because I don't like my opinion being influenced. Even though some people do claim that I get paid off by Sony and Warner Brothers and Disney. Unless I give a bad review, then I'm not paid off by Sony, Warner Brothers, and Disney. But then I get a good review, and the cycle continues. Let's see. I would have a bigger apartment if I was paid off. All right. OBE's Planet Production says, I'm an aspiring filmmaker. Did you ever make any films as... Hey, looky there. I say looky there. What am I, 5? Procrastinators just joined Patreon. Well, let's give procrastinators a big shout out on the live stream for just joining Patreon. Look at that, man. That is awesome. Thank you so much, procrastinators. The joy. All right. Did you ever make films? I Made some short films in my day, entered some competitions at my local college. We had some regional film competitions, placed first in one of them. That was fun. So yeah, I would love to go back to that. I spend so much time with this channel and with you guys. It's very difficult to think when I would do that, but I would absolutely love to go back to that, because directing, filmmaking, obviously, is something that I'm passionate about. But I also really love doing what I do right now, so I'm content. But hey, good luck, because being a filmmaker is a beautiful form of creativity, and to get that out there to the world, I think, is super duper cool. So that's very cool, and it's very cool that you were willing to share that with me. So I do appreciate you sharing that. Let's see. I want to make sure I don't miss these super chat guys. So we got Wade West that says, "What movie left you speechless after leaving the theater?" Inception definitely left me speechless, but I would say most recently 1917. 1917 left me stunned, speechless, absolutely. And I'll never forget leaving that. It was one of my very first press screenings. Everyone was quiet. We all walked out so quiet. Everyone just not a word. And it was a bunch of press people, and we were all just like, wow, that was special. And it was a very special movie. It was a moving experience. And I know people have issues with the, certain elements of the plot, this and that. But as an experience, especially watching in IMAX, I will never, ever forget that. Oh, I love this casting, Ryan. Oh, my God, I love that. Millie Bobby Brown as Kitty Pryde. That is great, because Kitty Pryde, it's like she doesn't, and I know this sounds bad, but you think of Millie Bobby Brown and, the whole first season, she didn't really say all that much. Kitty Pryde is a very quiet, subtle, character that has like a little bit of, it's almost like she has like this anxiety about the world outside of her. And I think of how Millie Bobby Brown could portray that and display that. That is great casting, Ryan. I want to do another fan casting video. I did a couple of fan casting videos, and they were so much fun to do. If you guys are interested in that, I'm looking for content to do that's just kind of outside of the box. And sometimes videos, they don't do great. They don't get a lot of likes. I'm like, all right, I ain't gonna do that again. But fan casting is super fun. So I would love to do a fan casting video. Mike said, "I'll join your Patreon. Just keep forgetting." No, you're good, Mike. You're good. You don't have to worry about things like that. I know financial, paying money. You don't have to worry about it, man. I do not feel bad. It's just a way to give back to the channel. It's a way to help out the channel, and it is a way to get extra content. And next week's live stream is not a 2014. We're moving in 2015. It's actually going to be an Oscar centric. So we are all. If you're on Patreon, you can join via video camera, microphone, or you can just get in the chat, and we're all going to be talking about the Oscar nominations and maybe giving some predictions. So that'll be super duper fun, but don't worry about that, my friend. Let's see. Have you seen Mad Men? My wife absolutely loved Mad Men, and I saw a lot of episodes of it. Didn't see it all the way through. Really enjoyed what I saw. She was very disappointed in the ending, though. She didn't love the ending. Please do a fan casting video, Jesse, man. I want to. I might do it. I might have to do it. We'll have to see. Let's see. I want to do the watch-alongs and stuff. Yeah, man, I want to get back into the watch-alongs. We tried to do a Big Hero 6 watch-along last week. Was it last week? And it was an epic fail because that stinking app kept kicking me out. So there's another app that I'm going to try out, a way for us all to watch it together. And I think that'll be super fun. Or I may just go the traditional route of just kind of watching the movie and having you guys join me via video camera and watching it with me. So we're definitely going to do more watch alongs, but it will not be Big Hero 6. The one that I want to do, and I keep pitching, is Thor Ragnarok, because it's on Disney Plus. It's a fun Marvel movie. You don't have to think too hard while you're watching it, and it's not like 3.5 hours. So Thor Ragnarok's probably the next watch along we're going to do. I'm going to answer one more question, guys, and then I got to go watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, because that puppy's 4 hours. We got to go check it out. So let's do one. This is, I'm going to answer this from Frank, because this is actually a question that I think about very often. And then I'll answer. So let's do Saving Private Ryan or 1917. For me, Ryan is better because of the emotional impact. I think it used to be Saving Private Ryan. I think it might be 1917 now. And both are my absolute favorite war films, just experiences of all time. And I know it's probably too soon to say that about 1917. I don't care. 1917, Saving Private Ryan. They're both my favorites. I'm going to go slightly 1917, but again, that's Saving Private Ryan is just top tier Steven Spielberg, in my opinion, just absolutely exquisite. And then this one. All right. Oh, man, you guys just keep asking good questions. Dang it. Austin, what is your favorite type of pizza? Mine's barbecue chicken. Man, what is my favorite? Anything with mushrooms. I love mushrooms. I love extra cheese. I love me some jalapenos. I love spinach. I'm weird. I like Italian, really Italian pizzas, and give me like either a garlic pesto sauce or a white sauce. I love marinara. I'll eat marinara, but I prefer like the Italian style pizzas, right? I'm watching MasterChef and I'm like, give me all this fancy food. Even though I live in Kentucky, I shouldn't be eating fancy food. I should be eating KFC. But no, I love like Italian style pizzas. Somebody asked, did I miss a super chat? Possibly, because they flew by, my friend. I'll go look for it here in just a second. Let's do this question. When you watch a movie, what do you eat? I eat popcorn and cookie dough bites. I love cookie dough bites. And if they don't have cookie dough bites, snow caps. I love snow caps. Let's see. We've got what's your favorite animated film of all time? It's between The Incredibles, Spider-Verse, Spirited Away. Those are absolutely my favorite. Let's see. We got Ace, Austin, my boy. Hope you're doing great. I gotta ask you though. Get around. Not yet, man. I've been so busy the last couple of weeks. I haven't had the shot, but I saw your tweet, man. I saw your tweet. I'll definitely get to it. There was one question. Oh yeah, somebody was asking about a super chat. Charles Haskins. Sorry guys. I know I miss a lot of your questions. I'm really, and I think I did because no, Charles, the Sir Ian, you may have left and come back. The Sir Ian question and the Harrison Ford question, I did get to that, Charles. So if that's not the one you're talking about, let me know, Charles. But I did get to that question. So you may just have like missed it. I know we've been going for a long time. That is one that I answered. All right, and let's end on this, barring any more super chats. Favorite film score? And I always say, man, that is one of the toughest questions you can possibly ask. One of the toughest questions. Anything Zimmer, John Williams, Johan Johansson for Arrival, I always say is one of my favorite scores of all time. I think Zimmer's given me 2 or 3 that are in contention: Interstellar, Man of Steel, Inception. I'm loving Ludwig Göransson though, what he's bringing us with, whether it be Black Panther or The Mandalorian or just that style, his upbeat nature, I think is super duper cool. And then you have, your classic John Williams scores that just stand the test of time and will always stand the test of time because they're so good, so memorable, and so freaking iconic. I do see one more question that I'm going to absolutely end with. I'm going to keep saying it. Rest in peace, James Horner, one of the absolute best. But if you guys are here and you haven't dropped a thumbs up on this video, I know I say my goal is always 100. I think we could maybe get at least close to 150 on this video if you haven't done that yet. And the reason I say that, if you're new, if you're just joining for the first time, it isn't me begging for likes. The way that the YouTube analytics work, the more thumbs up you get, the more likely your video is to get out there, and the more likely, your channel is to grow. So, one thing leads to another. Hey, I just appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys for asking questions, giving me the opportunity to answer your questions. I know I've got to go get to the Snyder Cut. I'm about to go check that out, but I want to say thank you so much for everything that you guys do, your support. If you watched my interview with Ronald, you know that I meant what I said about you guys and everything that you've done for the channel. And I just want to pitch you guys a lot of things that are coming this week, whether it be my review for the Snyder Cut tomorrow, not Thursday, tomorrow. The Oscars live reaction, which will actually be before that. It'll be at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then we have The Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Friday, possibly a non-spoiler review on Thursday, but we'll just have to see, but definitely on Friday. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And I'm about to go embark on my journey of Zack Snyder's Justice League. You guys had some incredible questions. Be sure, before you leave, be sure to say your goodbyes in the chat, and I'll play you out as I always do. And I'm going to go take my dog for a walk. I want to sit down and watch this movie and hopefully get prepared for tomorrow's Oscar announcements, the nominations tomorrow morning, and it's gonna be a big old week, guys. But it's fun. I love doing this. I appreciate you guys so much for supporting the video. All my videos, leaving the likes, leaving the thumbs ups, and as my voice is leaving, and for asking your questions. All right, guys, I'm done talking. I'm long winded, and I'll see you very, very soon. Mike is asking for a link. Check out my community page. The link to the interview is right there, the very first post. And go support Ronald. The guy's incredible at what he does. Put some dirt in your eye.